Hello everybody, welcome to this refresher training on CSGA SeedCert. The target audience for this training is all ASCIS officials, LSCI, and CFIA. We will go over SeedCert and a question and answer period will follow. Your lines have been muted. If you have any questions during the presentation, please send them to us using the chat feature included in this screen share software. Before we start, I would like to note that CSGA strongly recommends using Google Chrome or Firefox for the best experience using SeedCert. To start, open a browser to seedcert.ca. Each ASCIS has its own login information for lead and alternate inspectors, and each inspector has a 4-digit login so that they can see their assignments. If you're an inspector and you don't have a SeedCert login, please contact your inspection service and they'll be able to provide you a sign-up form. If you do not remember your login information, use the contact button located at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and a member of our support team will be able to help you. This first page is a SeedCert dashboard, which shows fields that have been assigned to you. In overall inspection progress, on the y-axis you see the number of inspections, and on the x-axis you see the crop species. When you move your mouse over the crop type, you see the number of pending inspections for fields, as well as those which have been completed. The next tab is the Applications tab, where a lot of information will be made available to you, as you can see by the column headers. Notice at the top that you have two options to view the grid, either in Simple View, which shows only the major columns, or in Detailed View, which shows every column header. This grid will open in Simple View if you're opening SeedCert on a mobile device. We encourage you to try to manipulate this information. For example, you can drag columns to rearrange the information in a way that's convenient for you. Right-click to customize your columns further. For example, you can hide columns or use the column chooser to best suit your needs. Drag into the grid any column header that you wish to see. If I rearrange the columns, they will remain in that order for the next time that I log in. Customization is saved to your browser cookies, so if you delete your cookies, the columns will reset, and you'll have to restart everything again. Similarly, if you access your account via another computer, the customization will not be saved. One of the most useful tools is the search bar. Write a word in the search bar and it will search the entire database and return any results. For example, if I want to know which fields are select plots, I could type in SP and it'll show me all the fields with that combination of letters and highlight the search term. Search is also available in the column headers. Head over to the column that says message code and type in tag here. It'll return only the rows with the tag message code. Tag is just one of the message codes that CSGA uses to indicate which fields require additional information. For example, the tag code means that CSGA is requesting a picture of the tag. When you're finished and wish to return to a full grid, please remember to clear the search box, any filters that have been added in these column headers, as well as any outstanding filters in the bottom right-hand corner with this clear button. Now, let's take a closer look at the application itself. By clicking on this arrow in the grid, I'll open up another feature that we call the 360-degree view. It will give you access to the documents associated with the field, reports, tags, maps, and other supporting documentation. This feature is a one-stop shop for accessing all of the information related to a field and reduces the need to flip through tabs on the site. A pending button is also available up here at the top. This button has been made available in both the Application and the Reports tab. It'll allow you to filter all applications or reports that are pending approval or action. This works for lead inspectors to help ensure nothing is overlooked. There are also tools to export data to a PDF or an Excel file down here. Note the number of fields on the page, where it says count equals a number. We recommend exporting a small number of fields to gauge your download speeds and then to increase the number if things are loading quickly. Moving on to the Reports tab. The Reports tab is very similar to the Applications tab, but where the Applications tab has information up to the actual inspection date, the Reports tab has that information and more. Again, you are able to rearrange columns, search, and filter to narrow down your results. The Forms tab is where you should find any reports, forms, or notices that you'll need, as well as the message code guide. For example, one form here is the Prohibited Noxious Weed Notification tool. During the inspection, if you identify prohibited noxious weeds, you must tell the CFIA using this form. Should you need to upload an isolation diagram, that option is also here in the Forms tab. Go to Additional Support Documentation and select Isolation Diagram from the drop-down menu. Next, we'll move on to the Inspector tab. This page shows all the activity and history of a particular inspector. In the drop-down menu, to the right, we can pick an inspector. On the left, the chart shows the total inspections they've been assigned, their completed inspections, and the number of outstanding inspections. On the right here, we see their contact information, as well as the scope of their license. Further to the right of that, we see the inspector's history with a listing of their inspection experience in terms of crops. At the bottom of the page, we see the inspection schedule for the next 7 days. As soon as an ASCIS lead assigns an inspector and an inspection date to a field, it'll appear here. As an inspector, this is a good place to check your workload for the coming week. The next tab is the Growers tab. It gives you contact information for all of the producers that have selected your inspection service on their applications. Again, once you're done, please remember to clear the search box, any filters that have been added to the column headers, as well as the outstanding filters in the bottom right corner. There's also the Varieties tab, where inspectors can go to retrieve any variety description. The description database is divided into 2 tabs. The first tab has everything registered by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and the second tab has all other varieties. All other varieties include all varieties registered through a Form 300 and any varieties submitted to CFIA but which have not yet been fully registered. Use the tool to select a crop kind, a variety, and then press the print buttons to download the PDF. A question we often receive is what to do if the variety description is not available. Each week, the CSGA scans the database for varieties that lack variety descriptions, and an automated email is sent to the grower, assignee, and variety developer asking for the description. When a description is submitted to the CSGA, it will automatically be uploaded to our site. Long story short, if your variety description is not available, please check back on the site frequently. Missing variety descriptions aren't the only challenge an inspector can face. Variety descriptions themselves can change. There are 2 sections here CSGA uses to update inspectors regarding variety descriptions. The first one is called the Variety Update Feed. If a variety description changes significantly, it'll be flagged and the inspector will be notified. For example, if the honedness of a wheat variety changes, CFIA will make note of that change in this grid. The same notification will appear on the crop inspection report. CFIA may provide inspectors with variety-specific messages which highlight specific things inspectors should focus on in the field. The codes will be noted on the crop inspection report as well as in this grid. These 2 boxes can fill up, so it's possible to filter news items relating to specific varieties. Select the variety in the drop-down menu and click Filter Information based off drop-down selection. Last note on this page, at the bottom there's a link to an Excel spreadsheet which lists the special forage varieties with a registered class. The next thing we're going to cover is the ASCIS tab. The ASCIS tab allows the lead inspector to manage their inspection service. Here, you can change the contact information for the lead or alternate inspectors. However, If you wish to change your contact information on the ASCIS locator tool, please contact CSGA. Moving on, there are links at the bottom to add a new LSCI account, submit an ASCIS roster, and flag a variety description for review. You can also see a list of all of these documents that have been submitted for your reference over here on the right. A major function of the ASCIS tab is to add a new inspector to your inspection service. If an inspector is not appearing as an option in your list, chances are that the inspector is not linked to your inspection service. Add that inspector to your inspection service by submitting a new ASCIS roster. If they are a completely new inspector, they will need to fill out the Add New Inspector form before they can be added to your ASCIS. Now that we have gone through all of the major tabs, let's take a step back to the Applications tab and see how we can modify application and report data. At the bottom of the page, we see the year. Right now, we see the data for the current year, which is editable until the 31st of December. After December 31st, you will no longer be able to modify the data for the previous crop year. The first thing for lead and alternate inspectors will be to learn the process for accepting and rejecting applications which come into your inspection service. Inspection services across Canada will begin receiving inspection requests through SeedCert as of May 1st. Applications will be assessed by one of our appraisers, and during this process, the appraisers ensure that the application is complete and that an ASCIS has been chosen. If the appraisers note any issues, they will apply a message code to ask the grower for more information. For example, many of these fields have been flagged with a message code tag, which means that the tag information is required for certification. Other common message codes include sample and F50, which are common for select plots, or there are codes for land use. For more information on message codes, please refer to the CSGA Message Code Guide located under the Forms tab. Once the application has been appraised, it is sent to the inspection service named on the application. That inspection service has 3 days to determine whether to accept or refuse the application. Pending applications are easily available at the click of a button here. Then, in order to accept or refuse an application, click Edit on the left side. A window will appear with a status field as In Process, ASCIS Review. From the drop-down menu, select Accepted by ASCIS to accept the request, or Rejected by ASCIS to reject the request. Once an application is accepted, it cannot be changed. If an application has been accepted by mistake, you will need to contact the CSGA office via the chat box or by email at ascis@seedgrowers.ca. If the application is rejected, the lead will receive an email from the CSGA listing valid reasons why an ASCIS can reject an application, and with a request for the reason of this particular rejection. Once the form has been submitted, CSGA will work with the grower to find a new inspection service. Once an ASCIS has accepted an application, the next step is to plan the inspection. To plan the inspection, select the desired row and click the Edit button. Within the pop-up menu, identify the inspector that will be conducting the inspection and indicate the estimated date of inspection. The CFIA requires that the planned inspection date be entered a minimum of 2 days prior to the actual inspection. Please note, an inspector can only access info for a field if they are assigned to that field. If the ASCIS accepts the request but does not assign an inspector, no inspector will have access to the file. If an inspector is not appearing on your list, please return to the section about the ASCIS tab where we discuss adding a new roster, which will make all of your inspectors available to you for assignment. In SeedCert, inspectors have access to the Edit button. They have the ability to edit the estimated inspection date and actual inspection date. However, they cannot accept or reject the application, and they cannot modify the assigned inspector. If an inspector is working for several ASCISs, they will be able to see information for all their fields in one grid, regardless of which ASCIS has assigned their work. In addition to the estimated date of inspection, the CFIA also requires the actual inspection date. Inspectors can enter the date of inspection after each inspection or once at the end of the day. There are two ways to do this. The first is in here in the Applications tab. You have to enter the Edit pane. Please note that you can only select today's date or a date in the future. The second way is in the Forms tab, with the Notification of Daily Inspections Completed form. This is a mobile device-friendly way to submit the actual inspection date. Let's open it up, and we can see that we must write in all the sequences completed today, and this information will be passed on to the CFIA. While we're on the Forms tab, let's address some unique cases you may encounter. For example, one oversight requirement is that an inspector must notify the CFIA through SeedCert when they inspect a crop kind for the first time. Click on the new crop kind form, select the new species to be inspected, and supply the rest of the requested information. CFIA, the ASCIS, and the inspector will all receive a confirmation email when this form is successfully submitted. There are other situations inspectors may encounter. Use the Combine, Cancel, or Report a Duplicate application form anytime you need to combine two fields or you receive a request from a grower to cancel a field. Growers must process these requests through their inspection service. So now that we've reviewed the applications, let's look at how you can fill out a crop inspection report. To complete a crop inspection report, you'll need to head over to the Forms tab and select the form titled Submit a Seed Crop Inspection Report. Here's a tip. If you bookmark this form, you can use it from a web browser or a mobile device. Once in the form, enter your LSCI number and sequence number to start the process. For an inspector to be able to submit a report, they must be assigned to the field. The form will not populate if the LSCI number is not linked to the sequence. Once the form populates, please indicate which type of inspection you intend to complete from the choices in the drop-down menu. If you are a beginner, select the internal inspection option. Reports completed on this status will not be shared with CSGA, and the grower will not receive a copy. Essentially, it's a test report. Seed Crop Inspection Report is your standard choice for completing a crop inspection report. If you need to modify the information in a report you've submitted, please do so directly by selecting the Report Modification option. There's also a special option in the drop-down menu for re-inspections. Please do not use the Report Modification for re-inspections, as the form is different. Here's a few helpful notes about completing crop inspection reports. If you provided a grower a notice of isolation, please indicate this on the report here. If you check this box, please be reassured that a warning letter is not sent to the grower, nor will there be repercussions for the grower. It simply advises your ASCIS and the CFIA that an isolation notice was handed to the grower. Saving crop inspection reports. Inspectors are able to save a copy of the crop inspection report as a draft. Simply click Save as a Draft and hit Enter. You'll be prompted for your email address, and a link will be provided from which you'll be able to re-access this form. There is no way for CSGA to recover these drafts, so double check you've provided the correct email address. Finally, we get to accepting or rejecting inspection reports. Lead inspectors will be navigating to the Reports tab. Please note that an ASCIS lead must either accept or reject the crop inspection report within 2 days of the inspection. To accept or refuse, you click Edit and choose to accept or decline. If you accept the inspection report, a copy is automatically sent to the producer and the CSGA for appraisal. Lead and alternate inspectors will be asked to sign their names whenever they accept or reject a report. If a lead inspector rejects a report, they should provide a note to the inspector to help them make the necessary changes. It will be up to the inspector to enter SeedCert, visit the Forms tab, and open a new form to submit a seed crop inspection report. They will enter the sequence number and the report they wish to modify, and the form will open with all that data from the previous report so that they can make the necessary changes. A final note. A field is considered complete once the report is accepted by the ASCIS. In previous years, fields were considered complete when the reports were appraised by the CSGA. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this training. We will now address the questions received through the chat feature.